So in this video, I'll teach you how to study and ace multiple choice exams. The reason I introduced this section, I introduced this video because I realized that most of our exams, right, tend to be multiple choice exams, right? It's not, a short answer, or at least for now, from what I see, for the most, in like, certifications online, or most certifications and like most exams, especially in the first, second, third year, right, tend to be multiple choice exams, right? So this is why I wanted to cover this section, because then, I believe in the Pareto's rule, right? So, like I would say, like 20% of your 80% of your results come from 20% of your actions, right? So your job is to figure out what that 20% of actions are, right? And that gives you the 80% of the result. And then I realized that if you learn how to master multiple choice exams and learn how to study for them, because there is a way to study for them, right? And if you study this way and then you show up for your exams, it will really focus on improving your grades really quickly, and prevent you from unnecessary studying in ways that doesn't give you results, right? So I that's even if you look at this course, I'm essentially giving you that 20% that give you I would say it's a 10% that give you 90% of the results, right? That's the way. It could be even more, actually. The way I designed this course is give you the most important things that you need to know to master your exams and master your courses, and do it in a fun way, and do it in a way that helps you to remember the material for the long term, right? That's my goal, right? So um like it really, I look at, like, for me, multiple choice exams is like the game day battle that I go to, you know what I mean, to see how much I've studied and how much I learned the material well. So obviously initially I did not look at exams that way, for sure, right? I look at exams initially as, oh man, like, why do I have to do this? I already know the material, kind of thing. And then now after that, it came more about, oh, I'm just gonna use these exams to like show what I know, show what I've studied, right? So, and this, I wrote this from that place, this one. So like there are specific ways to study, so I want to review that with you and tell you what are the things I did that really helped me. So one of the things that really helped me with multiple choice exams is that, doing multiple choice exams, questions and exams, right? I would find, I would search online other universities, um, like, textbooks, right? Like for multiple choice questions, right? I would essentially find all over the place to see what are the, what are the ways. It's in university. I would see if there's any questions or past exams in the library, right? So that's what I would do. And I was asked other people, do you have any exams from the past that I can, see and do and figure out what I need to know for the exam that are coming up, right? So if you don't have that capability, go online, go search in other universities, right? Like if you're taking biology courses, other universities have biology courses that have similar questions that can help with your learning, right? It might not be the same questions, but who knows, some professors might use those questions from other universities, because sometimes it's easier that way, right? And you get tested the right way, right? So if you really care about that, really put in the effort to go and search multiple choice questions and things like that in your textbooks or wherever, and then and create a list of it, right? I would this is one of the main things when I'm gathering my study material that I would focus on, is really spend time looking for multiple choice questions so that I can do them later. Another thing I would tell you, if you have about like exams that have 100 questions or more, make sure that you at least do two times exams on your own, right? This is super important, because if you're thinking just by studying and you're going to go write an exam that have over 100 questions or more, or 150 questions or more, you're in big trouble, right? Like your mind, your brain and your body needs time for to like go through that conditions, go through that experience, right? That's why sometimes like people go to those exams but don't have the energy, right, to go through the whole thing. They get tired after like the 50th question, and then they have to, like, if you have like 150 questions, you're pretty much like like answering this unconsciously, right? And not probably not even thinking about the answers correctly and things like that. So if you have any exams that at least have 100 questions or more, do at least two timed exams on your own, so that way you're ready for it. Okay. And like I said, if you don't know where to find it, I would say look online, or invest time to look into these things. And if you have to purchase them, because you're not going to be doing these exams over and over again. It's probably, it's one exam you have to do, and if it's really important for you, get it done, right? And that's what I would say. And one of the things that when you do these exams, right, on your own, when you create this, multiple like, oh, one of the things I forget to do is that if you can't find on your own, create your own, right? If you cannot find online or wherever, find your own ones, right? Find your own ones and do them, right? That's the best way. And then once you do them, figure out what you got wrong, right? And like understand why you got them wrong. Because one of the things I realized when I was doing exams is that I tend to get things wrong because I read it too fast, right? I noticed that if I read, I like when I looked at and went and studied how I got things wrong, I found that about 50% of the questions I get wrong because I read the questions way too fast. So, and then other 50% was because of I didn't know the concept, right? So I really knew what I needed to work on, and what I really knew what I knew well, right? Like, so when I review it, okay, I knew, I understood, I answered it because I was right, not because I guessed it. So I would have essentially like three columns, right, that identify, okay, did I get a question because it's a reading error, right? Or is it because of like an unknown concept? Or I would even say, okay, did I get lucky with this question? Right? Like basically I guessed it and got lucky. Technically those are wrong, right? Because you didn't know, right? It's great that, if that's the way it works out, but if you have 25, you might have only 25% chance at getting it like that way, right? Depending on number of questions you have. If you have five options, that will be 20%, right? So what I would say, understand why you get things wrong when you're studying on your own. But same thing, if you have midterms and you have a final, make sure you go to your midterm exam review sessions and really get to know why you got things wrong, and what you got wrong and why you got them wrong. Very important advice I would recommend you stick with and understand, right? And these are the things I would say, like, this is essentially how I study for multiple choice exams, right? And it really really improved. Like, initially I was getting 75s and 80s, and once I started to understand what I got wrong and kind of come up with ways to fix those things, my grades went to like 90s, and I saw 95s and even more sometimes, right? Like one course I think I got like close to 99 or something like that. This is from a person who's been getting like 70s and things like that all my life, right? So I'm telling you, this technique works if you go study what you go wrong, and you're fearlessly doing that, and you keep track of things, why you get things wrong, and what you got wrong. It will make you really powerful, and make you really really good with what you do, right? And the next thing, like, I want to tell you about some of the tips that I can give you to help you with, when you're doing these exams. This is not too much about how to study. This is about like how to answer. One of the things that when you're reading these questions and things like that, obviously to read them carefully and entirely, right? Sometimes I run into this issue where I feel like I know an answer once I read it once, but I did realize I didn't know it properly sometimes, right? So sometimes what I do, I would like underline. I would sometimes rewrite the questions on my own hand. If it's a physical paper, I would rewrite it again just to see, okay, do I understand what I'm talking about here, right? And then I answer it. And answer it means I would see if I can come up with an answer in my mind first. Like, okay, I read the questions, let me see if I can come up with an answer on my own, right? And then if I can, then if I like look to see if that answer is there. And if it's there you go, that's very likely that's the answer. But the key thing is here is, read the questions carefully first, and then see if you can find the if you can come up with an answer. And then if you can't, if you can pick that answer, it's very likely that's the answer, right? If you can, see which are the options there are, read the options very carefully and entirely, right? And another thing is that, focus really on one question at a time. You don't need to worry about the whole exam, right? All you have to worry about is just the question right in front of you, and the option you have, right? One question, and then the options you have available, right? So those are the things that you only have to worry about. Don't worry about anything else. um right now, like, my cats are playing around with my wires. Don't want to worry about that. I want to focus on what I'm teaching you, right? So that's the kind of like focus you need to start developing over time. And then focus on eliminating, like, if you have a hard time figuring out what the answer is, focus on eliminating incorrect options, right? Don't worry about, oh man, I don't understand what is going on. Just start focusing, eliminating. Okay, I know this is not the right answer. This is not the right answer. Start eliminating answer, and very likely that will help you with coming up the answer you need, right? And that's one of the things I would do. And and one of the things that actually helped me, like, manage the time on my exams, I know some people don't recommend this, but it helped me to manage the time on the exam. I would answer, like, I would go through the exam one at a time. Like, I won't skip any questions or anything like that just because it's hard to answer, but sometimes things might take time, right? So I would answer the easy questions first, right? So what that means is that essentially I would, like, read something. Okay, I know I can do this one, and I would do the thing, do what is need to come up with the answer. If it's a math one, okay, I know how to answer this. I would do the question, right? And I really go through the ones that I can answer really well, really quickly, because that what I noticed that when I do that, it save a lot of time for me to come back to the questions that I can't answer right away, right? So sometimes if I have like 100 questions on the exam, what I would do is essentially I would probably have about 60 or 70 questions I really know really well, that I know. That's how I noticed what happened, is that I would go through them really quickly and really finish it, and I would finish it really quickly because I know how to answer them, right? Because of the material I've come through. So I might have another 30 or so that I need my careful attention and more time, and more ways to think about it, and rewrite it, and change the way that I need to think about all that, for that is dedicated for that, right? So what I do is that, basically, if I have 100 questions or so, any questions that I have a hard time, like, I would mark it, mark it on the side, or mark it, if you're taking it online, mark it. They should give you a way to mark it for you to come back in later. Just mark it very quickly, and it's like, okay, you know what, even if you might have to even select an answer before you can go ahead. But if you, like, don't leave it blank, though. That's what I would say. Don't, like, just because you cannot come up with an answer right away, do not leave it blank. Okay, mark it as something you need to review, but pick the best answer that you can come up with, right? Do not leave it blank. This is very important because it's going to put unnecessary stress on you and things like that. Give your best option. It's about, like I said, pushing the ball forward on how what the grade you can get. It's not trying to get a specific grade. I need to get this, because honestly, you don't know who's writing this exam and whether they are thinking the right way when they're writing the exams, right? So you can't put that stress on you. What you can do is to push the ball forward on the ones you can get right, right? Not try to get everything right, right? Find a ways the ones that you can do well, and focus on that and narrow in that, and then push the ball forward, on the other ones, that as much as you can try to get the right answer. This is the right mindset I would really encourage you to think about and having. All right, I'll see you in the next video.